Right, well, g'day and welcome back. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get started off today. One thing I neglected to do at the end of our last episode, and that was to craft the forge. Love listening to him moan. He just moans all the time. It's hilarious. Alright, so now what we can do is place down our forge. There we go. And we can see now that we've got a recipe for metal sheets, which is charcoal and metal scraps. We've already got a couple of metal sheets in our stock already from making sure that we loot all of the containers in the spires, because we're smart like that. Aren't we? Alright, and now if we just get rid of what we've got in our stock here. We don't need it anymore. That was just to level up. Then we are ready to head up north. Last time we went out to the ancient vault and rescued the alchemist, which is right near our base. Today we're going to head off and rescue the carpenter from the ancient vault. Now I'm going to do this a different way than what everybody else does it. Everybody else goes up onto the hill, which I'll show you in a second, which is a pain in the butt way to do it. They all go up onto the hill up here, where the ancient vault hunter is, and then go through here and ferret around, and it's a pain in the butt. It takes ages. And the only conceivable reason why you would not come this way is that you have to go through a little bit of red shroud. So if you have your flame shrine upgraded at least once, you're in perfect shape to do this. Because what we would be looking at in front of us now would be red shroud. Where we're headed is the orange roofs that are just above my head, sort of there. There's two orange roofs. Now there's a little town there called Morwenna, which we can take a look at, and the specific reason that I want to come through here is to show you an alternate place to set up your base. Not everybody will want to set up where I've set up, so I wanted to sort of provide along the way a couple of different options for places to set up, as well as sort of showing a little bit more of the map as well and different ways to do things. So basically just head along here. Now what we can do, and I think we will, is I'll just need to rest for a moment. There's a Shroud Root right there, which I've already gone down ahead of time and cleared the enemies out from. Depending on how adventurous you are feeling, it can get a little dicey down there, because there is one enemy that shoots magic at you. But apart from that, it's not too bad. And there's plenty of space to actually run around here and hide without sort of getting consumed by the root. So the only thing you need to do is watch out for these bugs. Now the reason that I wanted to stop and do that is to get ourselves a Shroud Core, which we've already got from killing one of the enemies. When you tend to take on enemies and bases that are a little bit more sort of getting into the difficult side of things, you tend to get Shroud cores as a base reward a little bit more often, and especially if you're looking to level your base up and expand, it may be a good option for people. So this here is Morwenna. Now, depending on what your view is on how things with the how things look with the game, or how you want to set the game up, and how you want to set your survivors up and whatnot. Personally, for me, this doesn't really work. There's not enough space in here. There's a lot of pick wooden chest here, though. Got some arrows in it, which is pretty handy. The thing that people do tend to like is that comfort level that you just saw there of 7. The thing that happens though is once you've set up a couple of things in your base, the comfort level really doesn't become much of an issue, and it's not really that relevant. There is a slightly better comfort level in this base here. You'll see the comfort level is 15, so that's, you know, a little bit more in terms of what you've got to set up. There is a little downstairs area there, and upstairs here as well. You've got a few separate rooms. Some people do tend to favour this as a place to set up, but personally, early in game, I tend to try and set everything up in terms of setting up for later game. So people want to have, you know, each of their survivors in a separate little room there and whatnot. It's great for about 10 or 15 minutes, but then it just becomes an absolute pain. It's just a huge pain. It's really, really difficult to actually have everybody, because what you want to do is build a lot, and you've got a lot of things you need to get done, and you need to go and see, you know, your carpenter to do something, or your builder to do something, and if you've got them set up each in little individual rooms, it just becomes a pain. So what I favour is having them all set up in one area. And the other reason that I come this way is you can see Morwenna's just there, and here's our save point, and this is where we need to get to. So it just makes far more sense to come this way. Now we will need to sort of skirt a little bit here before we head on in. And there's no harm in doing so, because what we're dealing with here is level 7 enemies, so they're a little bit more sturdy than we're used to dealing with. Alright, just pop up here, and you can see we get some relief from the shroud up here. And some ice bolt charges, that's pretty handy. Alright. So in terms of looting for these little towers that are at the outer here, there's only just the one on the right hand side as you come in that's got anything in it. The other one here is empty. Alright, here goes. Now there's a heap of bugs in here, which is not ideal. And as you can see, those little bosses there are quite hectic. So it's a little bit of a mission dealing with them. And at a low level like we are right now, it's quite difficult. And as I've discussed many times throughout this, it's okay to die. Like, you don't need to be concerned too much. You don't lose anything. It's completely okay. And you've got to head back in here anyway. And yes, we do know that enemies respawn, but it takes a while for them to respawn anyway. So you've got half an hour of game time for that to actually happen. And if you have taken any life out of any of the bosses here, as you can see there, we have already. So the best way to approach these guys is to try and lock them behind these walls here. There we go. Success. Alright. Fantastic. So you can see we get everything back. And alright, we've got another Shroud Core. Fantastic. And that looks like everything we needed from there. So we'll head on up the path into the Flame Sanctum. Make sure you take these things out wherever you can. And don't approach them until that little ring has gone away. And as we saw before, you've got a time reset here, restore time. So that restores the amount of time that you have in the shroud, which is what you're after. Ooh, quick little loot here. Oh, that's handy. Nice. Oh, looks like we've got another one of those bosses there. And another Shroud Core. So as I was saying before, things become much easier once you, in terms of getting Shroud Cores, once you start taking on more difficult bosses. Alright, and now we can awaken the Survivor. So now we've got the Carpenter all sorted out. So now we can make our way out, get on back to home base, and put our Carpenter in place. And it looks like we've got to make our way across there. So we stay away from everything else wherever we can. Out where we started. There's our save spot there, and we knew that we were out of the shroud there, so if you wanted to now, you can just head on out and head back home.